They're all in bed together.
Yes, the governor of Michigan used to work for George Soros. Yes, California Governor Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. Yes, Adam Schiff's sister is married to one of George Soros' sons. Yes, John Kerry's daughter is married to a mullah's son in Iran. The Clintons' daughter Chelsea is married to George Soros' nephew.
Yes, ABC News executive producer Ian Cameron is married to Susan Rice, Obama's former national security advisor. Yes, CBS President David Rhodes is the brother of Ben Rhodes, Obama's deputy national security advisor for strategic communications. Yes, ABC News correspondent Claire Shipman is married to Jay Carney, former Obama White House press secretary. Yes, ABC News and Univision reporter Matthew Jaffe is married to Katie Hogan, Obama's former deputy press secretary. Yes, ABC President Ben Sherwood is the brother of Elizabeth Sherwood, Obama's former special advisor. Yes, George Stephanopoulos was the press secretary for Bill Clinton. Yes, CNN VP Virginia Mosley is married to Tom Nides, former Hillary Clinton's deputy secretary. This is what you call a stacked deck. If you had a hunch the news media was somewhat rigged and you couldn't put your finger on it, this might help you solve the puzzle. Now you know why no one is investigated. They all have their hands in the cookie jar.
You might remember James Comey, who investigated the Clinton email scandal and the Clinton Foundation and made the final decision to not recommend prosecution by the DOJ. It turns out that the Clinton Foundation was audited by the law firm DLA Piper. One of the executives there was in charge of the Clinton Foundation audit. Who was it? Peter Comey, James Comey's brother. Peter Comey held an executive position with the Washington law firm that did the audit of the Clinton Foundation in 2015. Peter Comey was officially DLA Piper Senior Director of Real Estate Operations for the Americas in 2015 when the Clinton Foundation scandals first broke and Hillary was preparing her presidential campaign. Not only was DLA Piper, the firm where Comey's brother worked, involved in the audit of the Clinton Foundation, but according to the foundation's donor records, DLA Piper has given between $50,000 to $100,000 to the foundation. It gets even cozier.
DLA Piper executive Douglas Emhoff is taking an extended leave of absence from the firm. Who is Douglas Emhoff? He is the husband of Kamala Harris. Just a coincidence? Amazing if it is. You can't make this stuff up.
Another example of the DC swamp, and it only gets worse. This family tree will make your head spin. The swamp is deep.
Dominion, a voting machine provider, serves 40% of the U.S. market. It is in 30 states. The state of Texas, however, rejected the machines. Admiral Peter Neffenger is on Biden's transition team. Neffenger was the president of the board of Smartmatic.
Smartmatic, another voting machine supplier, entered into an agreement with Dominion in 2009. Smartmatic counted votes in Venezuela. Smartmatic is connected to Philippine voter fraud. Smartmatic is run by Lord Mark Malloch Brown, who works for George Soros. He and Brown are lifelong friends. Brown chairs the boards of a number of non-profit organizations, including the Open Society Foundation. Brown also chairs the Center for Global Development. Open Society, of course, is owned by George Soros. Smartmatic partnered with DLA Piper Global. Douglas C. Emhoff works at DLA Piper Global. Douglas C. Emhoff is Kamala Harris's husband.
Guess who owns Dominion? Blum Capital Partners, LP. Guess who is on the board for the company? Richard Blum. Richard C. Blum is Dianne Feinstein's husband. Nancy Pelosi's husband is also a major investor. An aide to Nancy Pelosi, Nadia Milshami, was hired by Dominion Voting Systems, and it goes on and on.
Dominion Voting Systems is listed on the Clinton Foundation website. Dominion Voting is listed as a $25,000 to $50,000 donor to the Clinton Foundation in 2014 by the Washington Post. Georgia Governor Kemp used Dominion Voting after Texas and Florida rejected them. Dominion has a lobbyist named Jared Thomas. Jared Thomas was Governor Brian Kemp's chief of staff and press secretary from 2012 to 2015.
You must remember the Feinstein-Kavanaugh-Soros connections to understand this next information. Deborah Katz, Christine Ford's lawyer, worked for George Soros at the Open Society Foundation. Deborah Katz also worked at Project on Government Oversight, or POGO. POGO is funded by Soros's Open Society Foundation. POGO is the co-signer of the letter Dianne Feinstein presented against Kavanaugh's nomination.
Kamala Harris did not prosecute One West Bank for their fraud when she had the authority. Soros owned One West Bank.
Now you know why a woman who placed 7th in her own state when running for president is now the vice president and current Democrat nominee for U.S. president in 2024. The swamp is deep and lined with the septic sludge of good old George Soros.